Why does Judges start with a guy getting his thumbs and toes hacked off?
I don't know. I'm kidding. So this is setting a tone. Basically what happens is this king is conquered. Israelites cut off his fingers and toes, and he has a line. And dialogue is really important. It's sometimes a way a narrator makes a point where the king says, hey, I've done this to many other kings. Pretty fair that it's being done to me. Remember how we talked about God's justice and compassion being set up as not in conflict with one another in Judges. And this is a way the author is subtly, but in a way not so subtly, saying, hey, justice is a good thing. You know, it's not the opposite of love. It actually is part of love. When something gets what it deserves, we don't want to downplay that. We don't want to negate that. God would not be a good God if he wasn't a just God. And so it's putting a lens in your head to see the rest of the book through that.
Yeah, and it's really intentional by the author to make sure it's the enemy of Israel, right? Because if it were an Israelite king who was hurt, you'd be like, no, that's our guy. We don't want him to get hurt. We want mercy. We want grace. But it's a bad guy. So you're like, yeah, hack his toes off, man.
And then by the end of the book, it's like, hey, you're that guy. Just like everyone in this book.
It's a literary pivot that ultimately says, you know, justice toward you is also justice, and it's good, which creates in us a need to have justice and mercy, and that eventually ends up pointing to the cross as well.
All right, tricky question. Number 2, is Deborah a judge?
A lot of people say that she is not, because Barak was the one who actually ended up leading the battle. And I have a problem with them saying that, because in Judges chapter 4, verse 4, it says, now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was